there was an 11th theory about the end of One Piece, it'd probably be something unhinged, like Luffy wakes up and the entire journey was a dream inside Laboon's stomach or something. But don't worry, as that's not one of the real ones. The next 10 are the ones fans keep coming back to, so stick around for 10 theories about the end of One Piece. At number 10, we have a theory that maybe Laugh Tale isn't the true final stop. Some fans believe there's one more island beyond Laugh Tale, the legendary Final Island. If this theory is right, that island isn't on any navigational charts or marked by the special log poses pirates use to find routes, and it could hold the real endgame. This idea started with a line from Goldie Roger, the infamous Pirate King, when he first reached Laugh Tale. He and his crew laughed upon finding the treasure, or what they thought was the treasure, and he said they might have come too early. For many viewers, that suggests Roger saw something unfinished. Add to that the fact that pirates find their way using 4 key islands called the Road Poneglyphs, and you're left wondering, why stop at Laugh Tale? Maybe the real journey continues beyond it. This theory sticks because it explains one big question. If Roger found everything, why didn't he do anything with it? Roger had the power and crew to shake the world, yet he disappeared instead. Plus, the world government freaks out whenever people get close, so maybe they're hiding that there's more still to find. Theory number 9 is one of the oldest and strongest theories out there, that the treasured One Piece is actually the ancient kingdom itself. Let's rewind a bit. In the world of One Piece, there was an ancient civilization that vanished mysteriously hundreds of years ago. The global government erased any traces of it. They even outlawed certain stones called poneglyphs, those massive stone tablets scattered across the world that only a few people can even read. It hits home because firstly, pirates and government leaders alike act terrified whenever poneglyphs or the Void Century come up. There's one big poneglyph moment that shows just how explosive this secret can be. Archaeologist Clover nearly names the ancient kingdom before being silenced by the 5 elder leaders, the Gorosei. Now think about this, why would Goldie Roger laugh when he reached Laugh Tale? Maybe because the secret was the truth so obvious or ironic that it became funny. If the One Piece turns out to be proof that this long-lost kingdom existed, or that Luffy is its symbolic inheritor, it lines up with everything the series has been building toward. At number 8, there's a theory that the One Piece is a message from Joy Boy, meant for Luffy. To get this theory, you need to know who Joy Boy is. He's the mysterious figure from the Void Century, which is the 100-year gap in history the world government wiped from existence. Most of what we know about him comes from the poneglyphs. Now, the theory says that when Roger reached Laugh Tale and found the One Piece, what he actually found was a message, something Roger couldn't act on, which is why he said they were too early. And even Rayleigh, one of Roger's crewmates, told Robin that they knew what the One Piece was, but they weren't the ones meant to do anything with it. So if that message was waiting for someone who could fulfill Joy Boy's promise, it would explain why Roger didn't try. It also fits with how the series treats inherited will, the idea that people's dreams and missions get passed on like a torch. Luffy, who's been compared to Joy Boy multiple times, might be the one Joy Boy was counting on. At number 7, there's a theory that the world's real history is locked away in secret world government archives. There's already proof that the government is actively suppressing Void Century. When the scholars at Ohara started piecing things together, the Gorosei wiped the entire island off the map, and it raised questions like what kind of truth makes the rulers of the world panic that hard. This theory says the government is still sitting on that truth, like literally storing it in secret chambers, maybe somewhere inside the Holy Land, right under the Celestial Dragon's feet. It might be detailed records of the ancient kingdom, the original purpose of the poneglyphs, or even the final message from Joy Boy. Some fans think Imu, the shadowy figure who rules over everyone, has direct access to that information and uses it to maintain control. With Nico Robin still trying to read every poneglyph and the Straw Hats getting closer to the truth with every arc, it's only a matter of time before someone breaks into whatever vault the world government's been guarding all this time. Coming in at number 6, there's a theory that the One Piece is actually a giant world-shifting weapon. This theory says that the One Piece could either be a 4th weapon of some kind, or a final trigger that unites the others. These weapons are said to have enough power to destroy entire islands or control the seas themselves, and all 3 are connected to the Void Century. Something on the same level as the ancient weapons, Pluton, Poseidon, and Uranus. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Poseidon is a person, specifically Shirahoshi, the mermaid princess of Fishman Island, who can command sea kings. Pluton is an actual warship, and its blueprints were passed down through shipwrights in Water 7. Uranus is still unknown, but the fact that 2 of the 3 are already tied to the ancient history and royal bloodlines make people think the last piece, whatever the One Piece is, might be the thing that activates them all. If the One Piece is a key that links the weapons, it could give someone like Luffy the ability to rewrite the world order by force. Even the Revolutionary Army or Blackbeard would probably go after it if they knew what it really did. At number 5, there's a theory that the One Piece is actually one massive world-spanning prank. Not a joke in the bad sense, but in the Joy Boy was a chaotic genius with a sense of humor kind of way. This theory leans hard on the idea that Laugh-Tale, literally Laugh-Tale, isn't just named that for fun. When Goldie, Roger, and his crew reached the island, they supposedly burst out laughing at what they found, and Roger named the island himself after seeing what was there. That's the reaction of someone who got trolled in the most legendary way possible. So what would be so funny it makes the Pirate King laugh instead of cry? Some people think the treasure is a message, or a story, or even a reflection of the current world, meant to expose how ridiculous things got after the fall of the Ancient Kingdom. Maybe Joy Boy predicted how corrupt the Celestial Dragons would become, or how twisted the world government's rule would get, and left a kind of time capsule that says, look what you let happen. There's also the idea that Joy Boy intended for someone with the right spirit to eventually find it, so when Roger showed up and realized he wasn't the one to finish the story, he laughed, because the whole setup was bigger than him. Coming in at number 4, there's a theory that Luffy will destroy the Red Line and literally reshape the world. So the Red Line is that massive continent that cuts across the world, separating the seas and dividing people by geography. It's also where Marie Joie, the capital of the world government, and Fishman Island sit, one above the ground and one deep below. Now, this theory says that the end of One Piece might involve Luffy punching a hole straight through that wall, possibly even shattering it completely. Sounds wild, but here's why people think it's legit. First, there's the prophecy on Fishman Island. A mysterious figure named Madame Charlie once had a vision that Luffy would be the one to destroy their island. And that sounds bad at first, but many believe it's a step toward freedom. If the Red Line collapses, Fishman Island could finally come up to the surface and live alongside humans like they've always dreamed. People also point out that Luffy's powers are more than just rubber punches now. Ever since unlocking Gear 5 and his Sun God form, he's basically cartoon-level strong and reality-breaking. Destroying something like the Red Line is no longer impossible for him, it's just a matter of when. So if this theory is true, the end of the series might not just be about treasure, but about tearing down centuries of separation, flipping the world order, and letting every sea, race, and island finally connect. At number 3, there's the theory that the final war will make Marineford look like a warm-up. Back in the Marineford arc, the Navy, the Warlords, and the Whitebeard Pirates all clashed in a war that literally shook the world. Ace died, Whitebeard died, the power balance of the entire sea shifted overnight, and even that wasn't the big one. Oda himself said that when Luffy finally moves, the world would be engulfed in flames. Vans believes this means there's another war coming that's way bigger, with the full world government involved, plus the Revolutionary Army, pirates from all sides, and the Straw Hats leading the charge. The clues are already stacking. Sabo's been declared an enemy of the state. Imu, the secret ruler above the Celestial Dragons, is starting to make moves. And Luffy's fleet has been growing in the background, gathering allies without even trying. If the Void Century, the Poneglyphs, and the Ancient Kingdom all get revealed at once, this war could be more than just survival. At number 2, we have the theory that Blackbeard will be Luffy's final true rival. This theory has been around for a while, but it's only grown stronger with every arc. Blackbeard and Luffy are complete opposites, as while Luffy fights for freedom, Blackbeard fights for power. Luffy wants his friends safe. Blackbeard uses people as tools. Even their devil fruits reflect this. Luffy's fruit gives him cartoon-like freedom, while Blackbeard steals the abilities of others and creates darkness. They're also about gunning for the One Piece. And if the series is about inherited will, then Blackbeard represents everything Luffy stands against. What really makes the theory stick is the build-up. Blackbeard already took Whitebeard's powers and status. He's got 2 devil fruits, he's hunting road poneglyphs, and he's not working for anyone. He's a free agent doing real damage across the world. At number 1, the biggest theory is that the One Piece is a physical treasure. For years, fans have debated whether it was symbolic, like friendship or freedom, but Oda shut that down. He confirmed in an interview that the One Piece is real, something you can touch. This theory says it's probably a lost treasure left behind by Joy Boy or the Ancient Kingdom, something that proves their existence or exposes the truth behind the Void Century. It could be ancient tech, a message, or even a power source tied to the will of D. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more updates.